All right, so I'm delighted to be joined now by Ivan Romo. He's the CEO of a company called SMARTSOL in Mexico. Welcome, Ivan. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Trevor. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, so last time we spoke, you were doing extremely well down in Mexico. The market still strong down there for you?
Still strong. This year has been good, some up and downs within the months.
Mm-hmm.
But since last month, we see a more consistent forecast for the end of the year. And of course, a great perspective for next year and maybe 2 or 3 more years due to this nearshoring strategy that the electronic industry is driving for Mexico.
Yeah, that's great. Now, you'd also started branching out to some distribution places up here in the United States.
Yes.
How are these going?
It's very good. I mean, our local warehouse is in El Paso, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We opened that facility beginning of last year, the 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And at the beginning of this year, we went to triple of the size. And last week, we just signed to get another warehouse. So basically, we are 4 times bigger than 1.5 years ago.
Wow.
So that can give you the data of how good is the business for us in the United States right now.
Right. And what do you put the reasons for that success?
The business in the United States is a mature industry, the electronic assembly. So right now, the companies are looking for fresh ideas, fast deliveries, great support. So we have that know-how from Mexico and Central and South America. So bringing the Mexican style into the United States, that means solving the problems faster, and of course with good quality and good products. Okay. So we still having the mix of the low-cost lines to combining with the top one lines like SMT, like Norson, like BTU. So combining or robots from Taiwan, from China, or conveyors from Korea is a very good mix for the American market.
Yeah, and the difference is that you hold stock of a lot of these lines,
yes.
So you can pretty much give almost immediate delivery. You're not having to wait 16 weeks for
Of course,
delivery.
we have a lot of stocks. For example, for routers, right now we have 10 routers in stock, 2 in El Paso, 4 in Monterrey, 4 in Guadalajara. So that can be shipped within few hours to final destination. With conveyors, we have 250 units of conveyors in our different warehouses. Juárez, El Paso, Guadalajara, and Monterrey are the ones for the stock.
Right. Okay. And what's the service infrastructure like behind that? I mean, how many?
In total, right now we have 21 service engineers, 4 into United States, and the other between the different regions of Mexico, and also serving Central and South America.
Okay. Great. So, I mean, we're sitting here today, Ivan, in Semicon West, which is the back-end packaging, semiconductor and back-end packaging show. How much of, you do work for ASMPT and a couple of these other companies down there. How much of that is coming down into Mexico, and what is the market like down there for the semiconductor business?
Well, if we say about the current market, is less than 5% of total sales for the semiconductor compared with the SMT.
Okay.
But we see a good trend for the next 2 or 3 years to have more business into the semiconductor for us. Working together with SMPT, ADT, with the Techman robots, Quick and ALGene, they have solutions for all this semiconductor industry, and especially we see that it's going to be more focused on the back end for the packaging.
For the packaging, and the OSATs and people
Yes.
like that. Right. Okay. And what about? Is any of the front end companies looking to come down into Mexico? Because I'd heard something about some of them looking at the southern border.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there are big initiatives. I mean, there are some big American companies already up and running some years, but since this year there is a couple of Korean companies starting operations, and a couple weeks ago it was a big tour for the top 20 Taiwanese companies in Mexico together with the Mexico federal government. So they took special attention in two regions. One is the Istmo de Tehuantepec, is a small territory in the southeast of Mexico. Yeah. Basically, is the nearest connection between the Pacific and the Atlantic. Is the distance on the land is only 120 miles distance.
Okay.
Connecting through the Gulf of Mexico. So there are a lot of advantages because there is a lot of water there. There is a good communication between the big oceans, and also you can go to the north and getting into the United States border very easily. Yeah. And they also went to Ciudad Juárez, who is a big city for the Taiwanese companies right now.
Really?
So in Ciudad Juárez, you can see the top ones like Wistron, Foxconn, Pegatron, and others. So looks like everything went okay. There are very good feedback from the Taiwanese companies who attend that tours. And at the same time, here in the show, there is the Chihuahua State people offering the build-to-suit package for the companies who wants to establish over there.
Yeah, but up in Juarez and in Chihuahua and these areas, I mean, it's already pretty populated with a lot of contract manufacturing companies. You know, so there's going to be some competition for labor there, I would imagine. You know, if some of these front-end companies start looking at it.
Yeah, it's going to be a big competition. But also it's the opportunity to bring people from other regions to join these companies and to build a good career into the assembly industry. Right. You know, last year, 74% of the new jobs in Mexico was related to the maquila industry. Guadalajara, the city where I had my office, more than 80% of the new jobs it was related to electronics or tequila industry. So the last month, June, it was 4 states of the 32 in Mexico that it was responsible for the 80% of the new jobs. And these 4 states are related to the electronic assembly industry.
Really?
So basically this industry is moving the entire country right now.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. That's really interesting. And is the labor rates quite stable down there, or are they moving? Or
labor rate is quite stable. The exchange rate between pesos and dollar is not in the best situation right now. Right. The peso is getting stronger, but eventually will be a new rebalance of that exchange rate. Yeah. But so far, if the people need to raise salaries, it's because competition, but it's not because economy. Economy is very stable right now in Mexico.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it's an exciting time to be in the industry, that's for sure. I mean, and I'm sure you're going to get some benefit coming out of this US CHIPS Act, which will trickle down into Mexico as well.
Yes. Looks like this trend. I mean, the wafer industry will continue growing in the United States, and so all the back-end packaging in Mexico looks to be the final destination. Excellent.
Well, I'm sure we'll be joining you later in the year. We're down in Mexico for the SMTA Guadalajara event. But for now, thanks for coming in and talking to us today.
Nice to see you, and keep in touch.
Thank you.